Hey guys, it's Ryan here, and welcome to another episode of Blockchain Markets, the channel where I do independent cryptocurrency research. Today we're going to talk about something really exciting, something that the community has been asking for a long time, which is decentralized exchanges. And then now we're going to talk specifically about the first decentralized exchange running on Neo, which is called Switcheo. Before we start, if you haven't heard about this channel, it's a channel where I do, as I said, independent cryptocurrency research. So basically, I do what you would do if you would have all the time and resources. I basically go through all the sources about one specific project. I looked at the different reviews, different videos, the white paper, of course. I look at the team. I look at how strong is the project itself, how strong is the roadmap, how much have they been able to achieve already, how much is just promises of in the future, and I make an independent analysis that I put in these videos and also on my website on blockchainmarkets.com. Of course, it's completely free. You can access it, and it's as a service to the crypto community, so you can. Of course, I understand that nobody has all the time to go through all this information, so that's what I'm doing with this project. As I said, we're gonna cover today Switcheo. So let's start here. And before we begin, remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get all the next videos. By the way, we're having an interview with the CEO of Bluecell coming later this week. So if you want to get that video, remember to subscribe to the channel and click that little bell as well so you can get the notification. So let's begin with Switcheo. What is Switcheo? As I said before, not just on Neo, but on the whole crypto community, we have been asking for a long time for more decentralized exchanges. Now we're going to get into the details on why Switcheo is Neo's first decentralized exchange. Now you can go into much more details in on the website, but it's basically, as I said, a decentralized exchange. Now, if we ask what are these guys trying to do differently than other decentralized exchanges, first I think we need to answer the question of why decentralized exchanges. What's the problem with centralized exchanges? Why are we saying constantly that we need to change to a more decentralized model? Well, first we have 5 different problems, which is the security. As you know that a while ago Mt. Gox got hacked. Now this year, another Tokyo-based centralized exchange got hacked, CoinCheck, and then so in all these centralized exchanges, what you have to do is basically you have to put your funds in their wallets. So you have to trust that they, number one, won't get hacked, and number two, that they won't just close down or anything would happen, because if that happens, then you lose your tokens, you lose your funds, you lose your money. So that's a very big problem that centralized exchanges have. So they also control your funds, of course, and then they can decide if they shut down tomorrow, as I said, and they don't want to give it to you, then they own those. Technically, is you are the owner, but they control your funds, even though they're yours. And what doesn't make much sense is that we all invest in ICOs or we buy coins, and those are all decentralized projects. Yet we have to go to a centralized exchange to be able to trade them. It's also difficult to transfer. Some of them also give they put fees on the withdrawals as well. Now another problem that they have is that when you go and then you're let's say you're invested in an ICO, now many of those projects hit the exchanges a month afterwards or even later. So that means that within the moment that you just put your money in an ICO, you have to wait for a month at least, and you cannot use your money. Maybe you just have a problem. You need that money quickly, and you need to just liquidate. You need to sell the tokens that you bought in the ICO. Well, currently that's not possible because you have to wait the whole month. You can do it in some decentralized exchanges at the moment, but we're gonna get to why they're not that great. So basically, that's the other problem: illiquidity in the short term. You want to be able to just invest in an ICO, and then you get your tokens, and then immediately you can trade them if you want with someone else. And what I also said before, centralized exchanges have high fees. They don't only charge for the trade, but they also charge for when you withdraw money to your coins to another wallet. Now there are many, or not many, but a few decentralized exchanges in the market already working. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, the problem is that the majority of them allow ERC20 tokens, but none of them are at the moment allowed NEP-5, so NEOS tokens. So this is the first time, and that's why I think it's an interesting project, Switcheo. But now the other thing is that is the trust part on the current decentralized exchanges. So the problem is that basically the way they look sucks, and that's to be blunt, and that goes against trust. So if you go to Ether Delta, for example, it doesn't look that great. It looks a bit, and I've used it and it's fine. But if you think that a lot of new people will start getting into the crypto market, and then for newbies, they're not going to take, if they see something that looks a bit strange, that doesn't look great, they think that these guys are gonna, am I gonna lose my funds, basically. So if it doesn't look great, the adoption won't be great either. Now, if you go to, that's one, you can go to IDEX as well. Doesn't look that great either. It looks like a platform of the 90s as well. So nowadays, we know that software has to be not only perform well, but also has to look well, and has to they have to put the users first. So then they have to make them really understand, and then it has to be really easy to use. That's something that when you go and then check these guys of Switcheo, they've done very well. It looks very sleek, and it looks modern, and immediately I trust them more than these other old-fashioned looking exchanges. And I think that that's gonna be the way that a lot of other crypto investors are gonna think about. But more importantly, so than the UX and the UI, which is already very important, is that it is the first on that is going to accept NEP-5 tokens. So then we're going to get into the details of that as well. Now, how will this token be used, and how can we make sure that the value of it will appreciate? So basically, we see that the tokens of Switcheo can be used to subsidize the trading fees. So basically what Binance does, for example, if you have traded on Binance or on KuCoin or another platform like Buybox, for example, so they're going to do the same. So then when you trade, if you decide to use their coin for the trading, then you'll get a 50% discount on the fee of that trade. So it's basically it's basically subsidizing the fees in a 50% every time that you buy or sell in the platform. Now, the other thing that is interesting is that then the tokens will be burned. So every time that users decide to pay with for the transaction with Switch's token with the SWH, those tokens will be burned. So the overall amount of supply of tokens will be less and less and less, and therefore the value should appreciate. Now, the other thing is that they also say that the SWH tokens will be used as the base token when doing cross swaps to other chains in the future, which is something very interesting. We already discussed that this is the first neo decentralized exchange, but the long-term vision or the midterm vision is to accept not only neo, but be the center and be a cross-chain decentralized exchange. So you can swap ERC20s for ERC20 tokens for NEP-5 tokens using this platform. They're going to add also other platforms in the future as well, in QTUM as well, and they're thinking of Stellar, probably Cardano as well. So that's also very interesting. Now, always I look at how big the community is, because a project can scale way faster if they have a big community. And also interesting is to know how involved is that community, how active is that community. So you can see it here. You can go to those platforms as well to see how involved the members of the community are. They still have a lot to grow in this, of course, especially in Reddit, where is the real conversations happen. I would suggest them to put more effort in growing much faster than the readers and the followers, the overall followers. Now the roadmap, and this is something really interesting, because these guys, I already covered NEX, the Neon Exchange, and at the time I thought that was because everybody was talking about NEX. That's why I decided to do the video and the analysis on the website, because I thought that would be the first decentralized exchange on Neon's platform, on Neon's blockchain. But these guys, actually, if you look at their roadmap, they just moved so fast. They went from, look at Q4 2017, their first MVP. Immediately, first quarter this year, they launched the exchange for Neo Gas and NEP-5. Q2, QRC 20. Then Q3, now they're going to do ERC20 trading, and then in Q4 the cross swap that I already mentioned. So they're adding more and more tokens. So my point here is that they have been moving really fast in terms of development, and not just delivering mock-ups or a bold vision, but actually doing it, which is really important. The team, you can go through their website and see here. You can follow and see their team. Their team is basically 4 people, 4 full-time guys. These 4 guys here. It's highly technical. I went through all the profiles on LinkedIn. I also saw that they're very active on GitHub, especially this guy Ivan Poon has been very active on GitHub, which is always a great signal, because on the one hand you want to have a team that is highly technical. Another thing that I found out is that these guys went together to the same university. They all studied computer engineering, and so then they have the experience of having worked together in the past, of knowing each other, and then they know what they can expect from the other ones. But also they have proven that they can deliver a product faster than other people, and a product that looks also great. So a lot of compliments for that. Their advisors also are very experienced. I say a bit on my website what they've done, but basically they cover the marketing and business development, where with Stephen Pang has a lot of experience also, and he's a crypto investor as well, and he has a lot of experience in being an entrepreneur as well, which the team also brings to the table. They also have experience in working in other projects and in being entrepreneurs. You always want to have in a team somebody that knows all the legal stuff, and they covered with Yingyu Wang. She has also, I think, like more than 16 years experience, if I'm correct. Let's see here what I put in here. 14 years experience in what I said in being a lawyer, basically. She has also entrepreneurial experience, so then she can understand and talk the same language to these guys. And of course, we have here Roger Lim, who is a founding partner of Neo Global Capital. That's the investment side, the investment arm of Neo. Of course, very important to have Neo's support, not just on words, but also in money. So continuing with the analysis, now let's go to the opportunities. What are their concerns, and then we'll just finish what my conclusion is. I think the opportunities is that we are now in a phase where exchanges or the crypto exchanges market is about to be disrupted, and a lot of why? Because of what we have seen in the past. Because of centralized exchanges just don't cut it anymore. And how do we see that this change it's real? That there is a real shift towards decentralization on exchanges? It's because the biggest exchange at the moment, Binance, they have announced just a week ago that they're planning in the short and mid-term to become a decentralized exchange. So everything is moving towards that direction, because of all the reasons that I stated at the beginning of this analysis. And that's great news for Switcheo, because then of course it's they'll be very well positioned in that market, especially for NEP-5 tokens at the beginning. Now, of course, as I put here, Neo is putting a lot of effort in growing the ecosystem. So a bigger ecosystem means more ICOs running on their platform, more NEP-5 tokens created and distributed, more people buying and selling those. And then who is there to provide the short-term liquidity? These guys, Switcheo. I also think that other ones are coming later, like NEX, will be also a good option. But these guys have these guys already did it, so they have the first mover advantage. Now, going to my concerns, it's one of the things that I found when I was doing the research on NEX is that they said that the most computationally expensive thing to do what was in an exchange is to do the matching the orders. So then they said that, well, the way we're gonna make sure that everything runs smoothly is that we're gonna encapsulate that. We're going to take it off chain. We're going to do that process off chain. Once it's matched, we bring it back on chain, and then we make sure that we have on the one hand security, and on the second hand we have great performance. Now, to me, it's not clear how Switcheo is gonna do that. If I understand well, for what I read on their white paper, they're not gonna do it off chain. They rather do it on chain. So I would like to understand a bit more. How are they actually gonna do that? How are they gonna make sure that the performance of the platform is the best possible? So that remains still unknown. So if the guys of the team of Switcheo would like to comment on that on this video, please, you're welcome to, and maybe we can also do an interview with you guys, so then you have the time also to explain extensively on how are you actually going to do that. So my conclusion, well, I think that Switcheo solves a real problem, a real pain that as crypto investors have, which is on the one hand, we don't want to give our tokens and put our tokens in a centralized exchange because of the risk. We want to keep ownership and control of our tokens and coins. But on the other hand, when we look at the current decentralized exchanges, they are not, they don't look that great. So then I don't have, as an investor, a lot of confidence in that those guys actually will do any better. So by providing a great UX and UI, I think that sets them apart from the competitors. Also, being the very first decentralized exchange on NEO gives them, as I said before, a first mover advantage. And they have to really grab that opportunity to get as many NEP-5 tokens, and then be able to run as smoothly and great platform. So that's why I'm interested in knowing how are they going to do, how are they going to tackle the performance issue. So that's very important on the other hand, because they actually deliver something. While other products and other projects, even some big projects that we see on CoinMarketCap in the top 20, some of them have a lot of promises. And they have a huge valuation. Now this team decided to, instead of promise and then talk about what they're planning to do and show mock-ups, they actually planned and they actually delivered everything. And then now you can go to the website. There's an exchange that you can use already. If you go here, you can already use the product. They have a running platform with real customers. So that's also something really important to me, as also as an investor, because I see that there's not just promises, but they have actually delivered a working platform, and they have already customers. So in today's crypto world, that matters. I think that we already passed the phase where we just invested in a lot of big visions and big roadmaps, and then we're going to do this and that, and we're so great. No, I think that today we want to see, as investors, running projects, running platforms, and these guys have done that, specifically that. Now the other thing is also, it's as I said before, it's also very interesting to see that Switcheo is not only planning to run or be a platform where you can swap NEP-5 tokens. They're also actually looking to be a platform where you can do like cross-chain swaps. So that's where I think big part of the growth will come as well. If we look at today's price, today is it's $0.023, and their market cap is something around $15 million. Now, if you look at other decentralized exchanges at the moment, like NEP-X is 400 million market cap. Kyber Network is 179 million, and Switcheo is around 15 million. So it still has a big opportunity. Now, have I invested in Switcheo? Yes, I have invested in the coin. I've bought that coin because I believe in the project, and I think also that they're in the right place at the right time. So that's my investment rating. It's positive, as I said before. If you want to know everything about, or if you want to just ask me any question about Switcheo, if you want to add something on what I just said, just ask it in the comments section. Also, you can take my crypto investment course I'll leave the link in the description as well. And as I said, subscribe to the channel because we have very interesting content coming soon. As I said, soon is also we're going to have this interview with the CEO of Blue Cell, which is another project that I covered. And my plan is also to have other interviews with other interesting projects in the crypto sphere. So you can get to see that while those projects are still relatively small. And you can decide, of course, if you want to put your money on those or not. Speaking of which, as I always say, this is only my personal opinion, and this is only for educational purposes, and this is not financial advice. So if you want to invest in this coin, I suggest you do your own due diligence, and then you can take my research as part of your whole research process. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video, and cheers, bye.